Hi, Perry Timms here, co-author with Kirsten Buck of a new three-part series within HRZone, all about self-management. Now, when we say self-management, we don't mean like self-care, and we don't mean those self-help books that you buy from airport bookstores. We mean an organisation that is lower on hierarchical status and more on participatory, and some might call them flat structures. So we are talking about an enterprise that is built on people having much more autonomy, agency, choice, self-direction, but aligned to key corporate priorities, to key organisational activities, to outcomes, mission, purpose, values, and the notion of what that organisation exists to even do. So self-management in that principle means that people are directed more by themselves and make choices about what they work on, how they work on it, and so on, than they are perhaps by a line management or divisional structure. Self-management can often be looked at as much more of a sort of nested circle version of an organisation chart rather than hierarchical pyramids of cascading links and lines. So we're going to look at some of the practices, though, that exist within organisations that have adopted self-management. And there's a growing number of them. So, this is the sort of phenomena that's been around for a long, long time. I mean, I could trace it back to the advent of people discovering sociocratic principles in the late 1800s at the height of the sort of industrial boom. So what we've seen is some organisations who've taken principles of operation and have change them radically so that people are much more enabled. I even resist using the word empowered because it sort of symbolises that somebody gifts it to them and they can also take it away. This is where leaders are very consciously making a step away from being the only person that things get escalated to, where decisions are made and so on. It's almost the principle that anybody can make a decision that they feel they have the confidence and the capability to do so. So authority is given to them, and of course they can still refer and they can still coalesce with colleagues to make those decisions. But anyway, going back to the practices. So what the practices we're looking at are around some of the key stages, I suppose, within an employee life cycle. So one of the first things we're looking at is recruitment and selection. How does that happen in a self-managed environment? If you haven't got line managers, therefore you haven't got those people recruiting people to their teams. So that's the first part we'll look at. The second part we're going to look at is much more about things like performance and development, and I guess the kind of longer tail impacts of what work is all about. And then the third one, we're going to really lift the lid on things like purpose and mission and the sort of higher level alignment pieces that we need to do, where actually there's probably a lack of connection to that in most conventional hierarchies, because that feels like a long way away and buried under layers of other people. So within self-management, the purpose-led factor is considered to be acutely near to people. But what does it look like and how do people do that? So recruitment, selection, performance, learning and evaluation and rewards, and then going into the whole sense of what purpose-led, mission-created businesses are all about. So we hope you enjoy the dabble in self-management that we're going to provide, because it might feel very unorthodox, but it feels like the rest of the world in terms of work is headed towards a lot more autonomy, choice, flexibility, and therefore self-management. Hope you enjoy it. Thanks very much. Ciao for now.